So at Mirriad, we are solving a big issue that has been sort of lingering in the advertising world for a long time, which is an attention problem, a reach problem, many problems taken together. And what we effectively do is to insert brands into content. And so what it does is it's like literally the antidote of the ad break, because we don't go into the content of the brand, thus enhancing the viewing experience and delivering phenomenal results from advertising impact and reach standpoint. So that's what we do. There's been some announcements from companies saying it's however you want to call it, virtual product placement or whatever, literally making it more obvious that this format now is underway, it's coming, it's undeniably there. And so now it's really about figuring out how to connect the pipes and all these things and making it happen. And this comes, I guess, on the back of the many questions, right, advertisers especially have. How do I reach my audiences? How do I do this in a way that I actually can afford it? Because we all know that, media has gone up in terms of overall the investments needed to reach your audiences. And so in this very complex world, there is, something on the horizon, and that is in content. And so we'll see from here on, I think we'll see just a very, very strong upward tick. Working with Magnite is absolutely a key component. It has been the stepstone from having a format that we know works, and more or less we're working with leveraging our technology and our automation, but not translating that into the automation that is required to create a marketplace, right? And that's where Magnite, especially with SpringServe, comes in, because ultimately that is sort of the step forward into the world of automated media buying, addressable delivery, etc., etc. I mean, we see ourselves as ultimately market enabling. Okay, so we're enabling the marketplace with what we do. And that being said, then we sit, in a way between supply and demand, and we're obviously leaning more towards the supply side, which we are facilitating because we're creating inventory in content. But that being said, of course, it's all about taking, the advertisers and especially the agencies also along the journey, designing the workflows accordingly, etc. So these are very important aspects. So we're not, just one side or just the other side. Us people have been sort of bombarded with advertising, and you pay less and less and less attention, right? And eventually you do other stuff rather than watching the ad itself. So things have become really difficult. Then you have the advent of the streaming services, and of course, yes, AVOD is being introduced, but nevertheless, there's an inventory scarcity, and it's just a fundamental issue in terms of how to reach people. But let's come to the attention piece. I think that contextual, sort of the power of context, right? To take that and leverage the context for the purpose of giving your brand, more compelling power, right? To be more convincing, to position the brand somewhere where, ultimately you can shape a market by doing it that matter. I think that is really what is sort of the new black, and we're seeing, all clients, all agencies basically saying exactly the same thing, and we are facilitating that, literally right that, and we are at the epicenter. What we'll see is that the format will be transactionable or will be transacted programmatically. So I think that's the one big step change. We'll have liquidity in the market because the supply will just come in. We are becoming a plug and play solution, so to say. And we know from the demand side that the demand is there. So they're just literally, the demand side is just waiting for it to happen. So it's going to be a conversation, still the same, pretty much the same conversation, with some levels of sophistication on top, but certainly from a scale standpoint at a completely different level.